Now we have a testimonial from Emilie Aubert.
Good morning. What a joy to be here on this beautiful autumn morning. Last week, Jim and I had friends from a former church worshiping with us. And as we showed them around our newly renovated church building, they openly admired the beauty and the functionality of the changes that had been made. From the garden at the new main entrance, to the molding and conversation areas in the commons, to the welcoming reception hall on the lower level, and of course, the elevator. Being lifelong church members and exemplary stewards of God's many gifts, I know they appreciated not only the tremendous generosity of the members and friends of Plymouth who contributed to this transformation, but also the care with which the money raised in the capital campaign was spent. The depth of their positive reception of the melding of the new and the old again reminded me of the legacy that we today inherited and the privilege we have to leave our legacy for future generations. As Warren Buffett said, someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. This is what good stewardship means to me: generosity and care. Generosity in sharing from one's own abundance, whether they be gifts of time, money, skills, and the taking of great care in the manner in which we use those gifts. For me, one of the best examples of care in the use of money contributed to Plymouth was the installation of the elevator. That word care can be defined in this case in both of two ways. One, the intentional decision-making about wise and good ways to use our money. And two, the act of providing care for others. Obviously, the availability of the elevator here has great personal benefits for me. But the greater good stemming from this caring and careful act of stewardship by Plymouth's congregation is that we have made this building physically accessible to all. In so doing, we are living out our belief that no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are truly welcome here. A welcome born out in our actions and not just our words. In the few months that we have had an operational elevator, I have personally witnessed visitors to our building who have come for a funeral, a baptism, and for Sunday worship, who have needed the elevator in order to participate in those events. They have, no doubt, experienced an extravagant welcome by this church. Do I love having the elevator? Absolutely. But I've been able to participate here for 6 years before an elevator, and would have continued to do so without an elevator, at least for as long as I could have managed, because this is my church home, and I love it here, with or without an elevator. But the elevator makes it easier to participate more fully. More importantly, the investment in the elevator by the good people of Plymouth is a visible indication that I am valued by and welcome in this place. I believe that is good stewardship. Furthermore, there are those who could not have found spiritual nurture in this place because of architectural inaccessibility. And when a church has architectural barriers, often people with disabilities assume the presence of attitudinal barriers as well. In an overt act of stewardship, we demonstrate that we do not foster attitudinal barriers against people, and we have removed the architectural barriers as well. Although the elevator came about as a result of a major capital fund drive, it is really the ongoing result of stewardship of this congregation. It is the open and visible declaration of our faith tradition and the expression of our belief that all that we have comes from God. We are the stewards, the caretakers of God's gifts. We have a moral and spiritual obligation to be trustworthy and discerning stewards, making sure we provide for the homeless, the hungry, the poor, the disenfranchised. As our annual stewardship campaign gets underway this fall, Jem and I will be thinking about ways that we can be generous in our giving to help support the mission and programming of this church. Frankly, we feel privileged to be part of this vital and loving faith community. We have 2 pastors and an intern that we love, who make worship rich and meaningful. Worship is enhanced by talented and dedicated musicians and choirs. We sit among brothers and sisters who are loving and compassionate and are engaged in the work of Christ. And we have an elevator. And what better value could we be getting for our money? We want to support Plymouth Church, not because we don't have to climb the stairs on any given Sunday, but because much has been given to us as legacy of the people. Much is given to us through God's grace, and much is given to us by all of you who sit in these pews. Because of you, Plymouth Church changes lives. Giving and giving generously feels right, and it nurtures us spiritually in a manner like no other action. I close with these words of author Santgura Savaya Subramanuyya Vasami. And I apologize if I butchered that name. Giving is an essential for spiritual unfoldment. For until we give and give abundantly, we don't really realize that we are not the giver. We are just a channel for giving.